Happy Tuesday. Hi, she's Chrissy.
And she's Sissy.
And we're Chrissy and Sissy. Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Sis, can you already believe that we're on January 31st lesson?
It's already, Jay. Before you know it, it's going to be that major holiday.
The one that I'm also thinking about, my major holiday is March the 1st when we started this. We started this in March.
Exactly.
And we started Chrissy and Sissy, what, February 16th? February 24th?
It was actually, I think it was, we discussed it on the 16th, had the first meeting on February 24th, and then made the video.
We got to go back and check because I think, and I remember like the seminars around this time, and we went live that Saturday, and then we recorded that Sunday because we had our shirts on and everything. Yeah, so I don't know.
Photo shoot and all that. We really need to know when Chrissy&Sissy anniversary is.
Yeah. YouTube is one, but when we actually came together, I got it written up somewhere. It may be in the bio. It may be down here. Yeah, it's somewhere. But happy Tuesday again, you all. Yeah, I'm just be real.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
I feel like we should have this conversation.
Thanks for watching.
I feel like we should have this conversation. Before we have this conversation, thank you all for subscribing to our channel. Last time I checked, we was at 155. I'm like, 55. Yeah.
Wow.
Like, and we organically grew the channel. Like, we have organically grew the channel. Like, by accident, we had one sponsor ad, but that was by accident. But we didn't get no followers from that anyway. But, I mean, there are people outside of my family that's, subscribed to the channel. So we thank you all for liking, subscribing, sharing, following us on all our social media platforms, which are at
the bottom of the screen.
The bottom of the screen. So make sure you all comment. We love to hear y'all comments. Even when y'all tell us, hey, add something, they're like, we're not offended. We love it. But we love this conversation today. And maybe we just get some help from you all. I feel like because we were studying a lesson, we were just like, it's trust me, it's a great lesson. It's the Bible. But I think sometimes we think as teachers of a younger demographic, you think, how am I going to relay this to children?
Right. And that's why I was like, this is a hard lesson. If we were in traditional church, now I'm calling traditional church, in-person church. Mm-hmm. If we were there, how would I break this down to my toddlers?
Yes. So the way I thought about it, even though the lesson is entitled Prophesying Daughters and the youth lesson is Daughters Who Speak Out, I would take the approach, and I would probably, again, take the approach from and ask my class, is there a man job? Is it a man's world? Mm-hmm. I would subtopic, it's a man and a woman's world. Mm-hmm. I would take it from that approach because we're talking about, and we're going to talk about women in the Bible and how God, can use basically anybody. But specifically, we were talking about in Daughters That Speak Out. The lesson aim was to examine how God called and empowered women to proclaim the gospel. Yeah, I was really hoping we was going to teach about Deborah or something like Deborah. I was like, okay, this is going to be about her. And that's one of my favorite females in the Bible because, she did it all. And look, to me in my head, I would say she looked good while doing it. But we're not talking about her. We actually talked about somebody we never talked about, which is Anna, who I'm named after because I have to look it up. But my middle name is Rosanna. So Anna.
Your name is Rosanna?
Yeah.
I was thinking that they had you because they didn't want to call you Hosanna.
Oh no, my dad said Anna means favorite, and so the favorite of the rose because my parents got married in the rose garden. Oh, so, yeah. But we talked about Anna and how she was. The lesson said that she was a widow.
She was a
married 7 years.
7 years.
Widow.
7. Married 7 years.
Husband died.
7.
Now she's 80-something years old. But one thing I loved, and I think that God uses women because I'm just gonna be real. Sometimes we get mad, men, it's a joke, spouse pass away, divorce, they marry within a year. They don't stay single for long. But I admire about her was the fact that she slept at the temple. She was there day and night, fasting and praying.
And I'm like, for 84 years.
Yes. So that was significant to me. And so I see why we have this lesson. So we understand why we have this lesson. But how can we relate this to young people? And so I asked the question again, is it a man's job? Is it a man's world? Do we have gender specific roles? I have teenagers. Can men only do certain jobs? Can women only do certain jobs? Mm-hmm. Okay, and we know the answer is no. There are female basketball players. There are male cooks. Women don't just cook. You have some of your most famous chefs are what? They're men.
They're men.
Men could do makeup.
Right.
Men could clean.
Mm-hmm.
I think about my little nephew, 6 years old. Sister had clothes all over the bed. Next thing you know, she go back in. He done folded the clothes.
Good job.
Like, what? So I think this lesson is amazing. And one thing, since I hand it over to you, but I think it speaks volumes because the action is we're supposed to admire those women that are in the church. Mm-hmm. And I could not help but think about my mom, and we could take this opportunity to shout out women that have influenced us and have been true just pillars of the church, have been spreading the gospel, doing the Lord's work, whether single or married. I let my mom tell her testimony. But my mom came into the church. She was a single mother. Had a slew of children. She was a foster mom. So she had her children and foster children. She worked sometimes 2 jobs. And I just looked at her one day. I said, she's amazing. She told me one time, she said, before I got to the church, they used to handwrite programs. And she came in, started typing, already doing, just the Lord's work, doing everything that she could. So we need to appreciate those women. And that's how I said to my children, appreciate those women that, have spread the gospel, who have been pillars of the church, who have laid that foundation for people like Chrissy and I to come in, and we look up to them and we follow their example and what they did. Female preachers, some churches don't let females in the pulpit, but our lesson is basically combating that. You had female prophets. You had the lesson talked about, and in the Bible, it was later on in Acts, you had a man that had 4 daughters that were prophets. Mm-hmm. So go ahead, sis.
Well, sis did a great job. I'm listening. This entire lesson, and let's just, since sis is an educator, let's just go from that role. Let's just pull this part out. Little known fact about Luke. Luke wrote Acts. Luke was a doctor. Luke was a very highly intelligent man. Everything that he wrote about in these books, these were not actually encounters. He actually didn't experience these.
Oh, yeah.
He actually didn't witness any of this. Luke did his research. He read the reports. And this is where he coming from, eyewitness account. Credible witnesses, not just the neighborhood gossip, but regular, credible people. He studied their reports, and he mentions things in the book of Luke and in the book of Acts that Matthew, Mark, and John just didn't write. So yeah. I may read something over in Matthew, and then I said, well, let me go over to Luke and see what Luke says, because Luke adds like a little bit more. Luke gives like the whole tea. he adds more to it than what maybe Matthew or John did, where Matthew or John may say, and a certain man was whatever. Luke is going to say, Timothy did this, and this person was the witness to it. He's going to give names, and he's going to give more facts. I like the details aspect of it. And then when he brings out about Anna in here, it's showing her dedication to God. And she slept in the temple because she knew that's where she wanted to be. She wanted to be at the temple where she could do her prayer life. She prayed, fasted. I'm pretty sure she was doing like other things there in the temple, cleaning and just caring for the things of the Lord. There's a little thing that the mothers always used to teach us when I was single. Well, mostly they had to kind of pull my coattail once I got married, is that a single woman cares for the things of the Lord. So I can be like busy, all ministry minded, ministry, go work with the children from 8 a.m. to 9 o'clock at night. But a married woman cares about the things of her husband. So it's okay to still do ministry, but you have to get like a little bit more balance. Okay. So she was a single woman. She was a widow. So she was completely sold out. There was nothing more that she wanted to do than to be with the Lord and be there. Our memory verse. Let me talk about this memory verse. Memory verse is going to come from, and it will be down below, Acts 2:17. Talks about that in the last days, God said that he's going to pour out his spirit upon all men, all of us, upon all flesh, everybody, not just a man, but he says that he's going to pour out his spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy. So when people say, can a child bring the word? Can a child preach? Can a child pray? I'm on my soapbox because a lot of people don't want children to go forward. And we try to encourage children to do things, to have like a little mini, bring the words, little mini talk. We may call it a youth highlight. We let them go forward. We let them pray. We let them read the scripture. We let the toddlers pray. We let the toddlers read the scripture.
Yeah.
My babies, they can pray, and yes, they know how to read. So when it says your young men shall see visions, your old men shall dream dreams. So it's like everybody. It's just like God does not have any respect to person. Everybody. It's God's will that if you want to be used by me, then I will use you. So that was like one thing that I wanted to bring out, because we do have churches, and that's their preference. I'm not knocking anybody's church, or they don't believe in female preachers and women doing anything in the church besides cleaning up and working on the chicken ministry. If that's their beliefs, then that's their beliefs. And I mean, that's them. Everybody have their own convictions. But that scripture just justifies that God says, I have no respect. I'm going to use all willing vessels. Right there, Acts chapter 2, verse 17 said it. I didn't say it. Acts chapter 2, verse 17 is the one that said that.
Yeah.
What we learned about Luke is that Luke was an educated man. He did his research for himself. He wanted to dig more. He wanted to know more. I would imagine that Luke probably was one of these little boys. If you sat around and then you were talking about a peanut, he said, where did the peanut come from? He's like, just going to take it from me being a gardener, and I say a plant. He's going to do his research and be like, well, who discovered it? And he's going to dig into it, and he's going to research it. He's going to find out for himself. Go ahead, sis. I want to just throw that in.
No, amen. And then she brought it back on home. I'm about to put that bun back on top of this sandwich.
Go ahead, girl.
So the lesson is talking about, it says prophesying daughters, and daughters that who speak out. Sorry about that, yeah.
They have a voice. Speak out. I have a voice.
So I use that as, okay, the lesson is bringing out those females in the Bible. But as Sis said, God can use anyone. And I like to think that the writer brought out the fact that let's talk about women. Why? Because during biblical days, women didn't have power. I mean, if you think about just political and historical wise, women couldn't vote until, when we got to like the 17th century.
Right.
So women have always been the underdogs. And so now in the lesson brought out, the day of Pentecost, and the Holy Spirit fell on men and women. So everyone has the power. Everybody has the potential, or everybody has God can use anyone, basically what I'm trying to say. So as a teacher, okay, I saw that we're using daughters as like almost like a metaphor, saying that. So it's just saying daughters who speak out, just Christians, God's children, speak out. God's people speak out. It don't matter how you look. It don't matter your race. It don't matter your culture. It don't matter what language you speak. We saw that on the day of Pentecost. Right. That doesn't matter. All people. So, I mean, it ties back to the whole call to, and realizing that everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a gift. It's a reason why you're on this earth. And that gift is going to be manifested, and it's going to help to bring souls into the kingdom. And that's what the lesson also pointed out. We're here to bring, God can use anybody to build up his kingdom. So we're here to bring people, into the kingdom of God. So a good lesson. Sis brought it out very well. I enjoyed the lesson from the simple fact that we had to tweak it a little bit and talk about, do we have specific jobs? Do we have, only can men do certain things? Can women do certain things? No. Can Black people do certain things? Can white people do certain things? No, because God is going to use everyone. Okay? If we have the willing heart, if we have the pure heart, God is willing to use everyone. So that's all I have to say.
That's all I have to say. One more little nugget. When Sis was talking about the day of Pentecost, let's pull out exactly why was everybody filled? Not just the men, not just the children, not just the women, but everyone was filled on the day of Pentecost. Have you thought about that? Because there was nobody, no big eyes, no little you. Everybody was gathered there in one place, on one accord. They had one purpose. And this shows, once again, that when you get in agreement and when you get on one accord, it shows how God will move for you.
Yes. It's almost like you saying that when we come to church and we realize that the little baby can pray. The lady who came in with her skirt all the way up and then now it's coming down, she can preach. The drunk wino can prophesy. Those people can come in and be cleaned up. We got to have that same mindset. I'm like another soapbox, not, but yes.
Yes, that same mindset. Instead of you watch God move, when everybody is in church and they're on one accord, and the wino walks in drunk, or the prostitute walks in with tight clothes, short skirt on, instead of you sitting over in the corner and say, she know better, she know not to wear that to church. And so you sitting over here talking about that.
You missing everything.
You're not still praising God so that this person can get delivered from whatever they have going on. But that's not the topic of the Sunday school lesson for today. So I'm gonna digress. Some do.
Amen. So yeah, this was hey, when you have those lessons that seem like they're tough, take it from a different angle. Pray to God. Ask, Lord, what are you bringing out? What are you bringing out of this lesson? What's something that I can get out of this lesson so that I can bring people into the kingdom? So on that note, we thank you all for watching. And if nothing else, happy studying.